Welcome to the Grand Design Series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. We're picking up on the 22nd of March 1986, which is, I think, about 6-7 months on from the end of the last part, simply because I played on a little bit and I intended to stop before winter set in, because in this part the focus is going to be on planning our vehicle production area. But unfortunately, the snow sneaked up onto me, and therefore I had to play through to get out of the snow. And then I had a little bit of a problem up in our other town, which I'll talk about in a little while, which meant I ended up playing through until about the 24th of March. Now, before we get into the update, I just want to talk a little bit about history. That is the fact 1986 is quite an important year in the history of the Soviet Union, because it was in 1986 that Mikhail Gorbachev actually introduced glasnost. Now, glasnost, as far as I can tell, but apologies if I got this wrong, is that it means openness, and it means open, and he meant it in the context of openness of government. And the introduction of glasnost, was, you could say, was the precursor for the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. So from the context of this game, it means that now we've got an easing of tensions with the West, which means I can start now to actually trading with the West a bit more, which is going to be a lot more useful, because that will open up potential customs sheds, because at the moment that's all been the big restriction about what we can actually sell abroad. Although, to be honest, we don't really need the money, because at the moment we are pulling in 3 billion. Of course, we're getting these costs of, you can see here that we're actually making about 32 million a month, although we're in the debt at the moment, because I think looks like a train has just been replaced or something. But more about that in a little while. First, if you watch the previous part, you'll be aware that I populated Pollution Town here, although I shouldn't really call it Pollution Town. I think I've underestimated the amount of population that I'm going to need. We've got enough to be going on with at the moment. I realised I forgot a university, so we put that in there, although technically we don't have students at the moment, so we could reduce that and write down a bit. Because what I'm trying to do is push workers here. I've had to increase this to the maximum number on the cable car, but you can see we're still getting workers queuing here at the moment, so we may have to add a few buses. Although, to be honest, at the moment we are producing more than enough coal, so we not have a problem. We are now sending coal from here to our steel mill, so for the first time we are starting to get a little bit ahead with the coal here. Although I did have a little bit of a problem here. This is a bit of a top tip, guys. If you are building a distribution office and you allocate it and the trains don't go there, and you're using electric trains, spend a little bit of time making sure that you've electrified everything. What happened here is there's a little section, I can't remember where it was now, which wasn't electrified. So the distribution office was quite happy to accept the assignment, because of course the game assumes that you can allocate a diesel train, so it won't refuse it. But if it's only got electric trains, it won't do anything. Basically, it just won't send any trains there. So if you do an assignment and the trains are never sent there, just double check that you've got all your electrification in place, not purpose. Now, so the population of the Pollution Town went well. Up here, I didn't quite go so well. And if you see here, we've now got over 21s down to 750, which is good. But it was done in an expensive way, and probably the best example here, you see we got 36% happiness over here, although technically we can let some more people in now because I've fixed the problems. And the problem was that this was in a bit of a dead zone. It wasn't. So what I had to do was put in this footpath here, which just about makes it to the store here. The other problem I also had is that I forgot to uncheck this setting here. So we got workers coming in who shouldn't have been in, and you can see here But at the moment, I've got spare accommodation, which I'm not using simply because we've got other problems with education, health, and culture. I had to put in a kindergarten here in this area that originally I was going to put a block of flats, but it's not going to be that way anymore. We also put a pub in to try and boost the happiness, and an indoor pool as well. So I've had a few problems in this area, mainly because I don't think I was really paying attention to it as I was putting it in. But I think we are getting things under control. I'm kind of thinking, could I get another residential block in this corner here? Part of me says put one of these big ones in, but I don't think it's going to fit, is it? We may have to just put one over here, I think, eventually, because of course the next thing I need to think about, and this will be the subject of the next video, is we've got to get workers out to here. And at the moment I'm kind of debating between a tram line and a what we call it, tram line and a cableway again. I've kind of not had a great success with the cableway, so we may go for a tram line, although it might just be a tram terminal. The problem with the tram is that we've got no rail connection, so we'd have to think about that. The other option is trolley buses, something we haven't used, but that is not the subject of this video. Now, before we go and start actual work on planning our vehicle production, just want to show you this is more a proof of concept. This is a train that's coming up here and delivering meat to here, which means that we're getting a meat supply. And of course, if this gets stuck by a construction train, it's not going to be a problem. And what I've also done, if we come down to here, is if we find the depot, where art thou, depot, I've also set up a alcohol train here. We're probably going to wipe out all the alcohol in here, I think, if I kind of, yeah, it's only got 56 tons. I think we're gonna just put a little bit more. As I said, this is a proof of concept more than anything else. Okay, so we're going to go there. Alcohol, wait until, just make sure it leaves. Okay, we can leave him to it, and he will take the alcohol up. Once he's got one delivery in, we can then actually kind of change the settings up top so that the alcohol's picked up from the warehouse. The other thing I want to show you is the fact that crop supplies are getting a little bit icky already. Getting a supply of crops in is going to become a little bit more important going forward. All right, I'm just going to play so we can get out the dark, and while I'm going to do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about vehicle replacement, because this is going to be the foundation of vehicle production. And full disclosure, I've never really extensively done vehicle production, mainly because it's not something that I really felt necessary. And of course, in the days before realistic mode, it was just easier just to lose the auto replacement, because of course now what we've got is automatic vehicle replacement, which actually causes problems with logistics. Now, I'm going to be completely upfront. We're not going to replace every single vehicle here. What I will do is I've been kind of resulting in using this to move. There's a button here. When a vehicle gets in here, you can click on it and say send all the vehicles to here. And what I've been doing is sending the snowplows over to here. So what I'm going to do is just talk a little bit about vehicle production. Now, the vehicle production itself is a bit clunky, in the sense that So you can see what I've just done. You can send vehicles manually when there's vehicles in here to a location, and then the vehicle will just move to it. Now, the other problem is that, and the other problem is that you can set up a queue. So, for example, what we're going to build, say we're going to build a fire truck. Right, we can do something like that. And what will happen is that when this is built, at the moment, is then it will go down and build fire trucks and then infinitely produce fire trucks, because I haven't checked this button here which says stop vehicle production when the queue has ended. Now, there has been an update, but I'm not sure if it's actually been applied to the actual thing. In fact, this might be a good time to actually do a test, actually, out of curiosity. Snowplow, put you back there. Now, as I say, what happens is it's a repeatable queue. So if it's been implemented, what will happen is this horse breeder will produce a fire truck, then a snowplow, then a fire truck, then a snowplow, and it will keep repeating over time once that fix has actually been put into place. And this might actually be the setup. Now, one of the problems with vehicle production is, and I think I picked this up from Buljo. He went overboard with his vehicle production, as far as I could tell. And what happens is, if you put vehicles in an open store, they accumulate wear and tear, but just by sitting here. So what can happen is that if you overproduce and stick them all in big warehouses like this, what will happen is you eventually be producing vehicles which are unusable because they're basically too old. Because the important thing you need to be aware of is the rate of production. Wow, we're actually scrapping a helicopter. Where's that helicopter then? Wow, we actually scrapped our first helicopter. M10. Okay, sorry about this. I just want to check. Of course, we can't see the youngest one. Now, they're all M10 cargoes. We actually scrapped an M10. Okay. Wow. That's first. That means we're going to get some aluminium here. There's also a train in here, which I scrapped manually because I was looking at it just before I started. I realized we had a train at 80 kilometers. So what part of the vehicle production is you've got to plan how many vehicles you actually need to do. Now, as an example, if I come into here, this is the list. I wish there was a way that you could sort this by vehicle type. I did do a count of all the vehicles that were replaced in 1985, and I replaced roughly about 40, mainly covered holes and other bits and pieces. Actually trying to see that M10. Is it showing up here? Yeah, M10 cargo there. There. It's a member of the Stilton helicopter crew. Sorry, just curiosity. I think this is the first helicopter I've seen in this game where it was actually replaced. Yeah, you can see it here. Yeah, 0.99 years. We've got a spiffy new helicopter here. Yeah, I mean, I've replaced one manually because it got too much wear and tear, but that's the first time I've seen one replaced automatically. That's good to know. So we've got stuff here. The queue here is part of the fact that I also had a bit of a purge of all these old Mac AC trucks in my farms in a chance to improve in productivity. Anyway, back to what I was saying is that if you overproduce, you end up with vehicles sat in these open stores waiting to be replaced. Now, another problem that you can have is, if you come back to here, is that the auto replacement process can be a bit of a problem when it comes to things like rollers and pavers, because say, for example, you built rollers and put it there, and then say 20 years later the construction office up or road crew up here says, oh, my rollers needs to be replaced. What will happen is the game will send the roller all the way up through. In fact, it might not. actually, because it might just go to the nearest location. So there's no point building what you would call the minor vehicles here. What we're looking at is setting up production for automatic vehicles replacement. So that is the situation. Now, what that's leading me to is how are we going to, we need to build a production capacity here, but we don't need it massively. We're going to need to try and manage it. Oh, train waiting too long. Where are you? What's, oh yeah, these guys are queuing up for the waste here. I really should have connected up the second line here. We're getting a lot more waste out of here. Anyway, that's the reason why we're now going to put the game on pause. So what I'm thinking is we're going to build the vehicle production in this area. And what I'm thinking is four main vehicle factories. These are these ones here. So we're going to have 4 vehicle factories here, and I've got a small one here. Now this one produces a lot of pollution, which is 26 tons of pollution, and these are produced 12 tons. But you've got to remember, if I put 4 in here, that would give an accumulated weight of 48 tons. Now I also would like to put in a railway production line, but as I've just been saying, is we only really need one railway replacement factory, because again, if I show you here, we've got electric locomotives, metros. I mean, I've got 30-year-old metro trains which have only still got 35% wear and tear, and that also goes for the trams themselves as well. I've got 30-year-old trams here. So the trains themselves don't age that quickly. So that is going to be the issue. Now, of course, this is going to be our town that's going to supply the workers. We are going to use train sets. Now, what I need to do is measure here. We're going to measure from this point here, because our vehicle production needs to be, yeah, I think we're going to have to build it in this lower part here. Down here. Somewhere in this area here. Let's just turn on the grid. Now my starting premise is going to be based on a design that Baljo used for his vehicle production in his Island series. But I'm not going to follow it exactly. I just like the way he set up the initial kind of positioning. I think if we're going to put in a factory, let me just find it. We're going to put in a, get this to snap, this one. I'm going to push you. I need to make sure that I leave enough light space underneath for a track. We'll put you that way round. How much space have I got? We've got enough space there. I'm going to put you there. I'm going to put you, and I want you is jammed up as close as you can. Nah, wrong way around. I only made a mistake. We're going to put you there. So we got the road connections facing inwards. The key with these factories, this is my theory anyway, is the most difficult things to deliver are the plastics, mechanical components, electro components, and fabric, because those are 4 items. The steel is relatively straightforward. Also, if you look at this, you've got, for vehicles, there's a little bit of over storage here. So what I want to try and do is we're going to put in a warehouse. I want a fairly large warehouse. I'm going to put you in like that, and I want you to connect those two together like that. what is the storage on here? You're 560. This is 520. I mean, you could make the case for just to use this, actually, come to think of it, and just keep it simple. Yeah, I think we will use this because it means that I don't have to put a separate track platform in. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring the... I'm not sure which way the rail's going to go in. So we got this connection here. Now, what we got here is a center line. Now, we're going to have to connect up this road here. I'm going to put a road through there like that. And we're going to put a road there like that. Now, this is going to be a delivery road because we're going to deliver the steel. Well, what I might do actually is put some cargo on the end here. As you may guess, I'm kind of I've got an idea of what I want to do in my head, but at the same time, it's not. And this is the essence of Bill Joe's design is 500. Wow, that's tiny. Now I want a bit more kind of, what I want now is you, and I want you as short as I could possibly get. On that side. I'm going to put a mud road in there. Simply because that's irrelevant, because what we'll be doing is, well, probably building little footpaths in there, but this will go to here anyway. Oh, it should do. Yeah. So we can get the workers in here. Now the track, all the workers will come down. Put this in. We're going to be using train sets again. And we're going to go out that way. And I'm just going to put this in. I'm just putting this in more as a reminder for me that the track is going out that way. Now, this side, I want a little bit more space with respect to the road. We'll probably have a crossover road here, but now what I'm going to do now is repeat this up. Now, normally I would clone this, but one thing I've got to be careful of is the fact that this game is, we are pushing the limits with things. So, and what I want to do again is, now again, I want this. I'll put you in as absolutely as close as possible. And let's put a tiny little mud road in there like that. We are then going to do I'm going to rotate you that way. Again, we're going to try and get you in as close as possible, like that. This will make sense, I can assure you. Okay, so we've now got 4 large factories. When we've got the ability to deliver that, and then we've got to deliver steel. Now we're going to bring the train sets in here and send them back the opposite way. So we don't need a track through here, but right. So that gives us our 4 major production buildings. We've got to think of a way to get the steel in. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to come here. And this is where things get ultra sketchy. I want you. Let me just. I want you roughly on the center line like that. Okay, we're going to come in a. No, we're going to try and go out as far as we can. I think that will do. Oops. Connect you to there. Now, what this is going to be is the equivalent of this one on this side. But the reason I put this in is that I want to put in. So these are going to be our major production factories. Now, what I want to do here is put in some minor production factories. Now, ideally, I did consider using these, but the trouble is I'm not sure about the exterior storage with these, although that could be a blessing. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go for this one. Now, what I'm going to do is I want you in, but I don't want you in too tight. I'm not going to pack these in. I want 4 of these, 2 on each side. 8. Okay, stop it. I think if I can get you there, hook you up to there, like that, and then we're going to put 2 more on this side. I'll put you. Actually, I could get you really in close like that to the back of here. No, I want you. I'm gonna rotate you. Is that? Yep, that's better. And then we'll try and get you over as far as possible, like that. And I'm going to get you there. Remove you there. Right. So what we've got now is 1, 2, 3, 4 large ones, 4 smaller ones which we can use for limited production. Now the next fun bit is going to be getting the workforce from here to here. Okay, you're no good. I'm gonna have to remove you. Keep clicking on the wrong one. It's that one. Yep. You're the wrong way round as well. Sorry. I thought I had these the right way round, but obviously not. Actually, no, I think if we put you there, remove you. Now, what I want to do, this is where the fun bit comes in. I'll put you there. Do 1 as a proof of concept. Put you there, sideways. You. Wait, you're gonna have to go down. Hook to there. Oops. And have to use you can come to there, you to there. Okay, this is too close. Right, we're gonna have to remove you, which means I'm gonna have to demolish you. Hopefully I don't have to go and do all this all over again. Asphalt footpath there. Asphalt footpath there. Okay. Put you there. Make sure this works. I can go there. Okay, well, this could be a lot of work for nothing. Right. This is the moment of truth. Yep. So that will extend the workers to there. So we can drop all our workers off in that one point there. And we can do exactly the same over here. Just move you a bit closer, I think. Underground. Sure. The other way. Okay. Press you there. This is going to be a bit more awkward, but you did it. And then just make sure. Yep. So we've got the workforce coming into a single delivery point. We got that there. We've got this area here with a warehouse, so we can deliver all the bits, all these. So we can deliver all the, plastics, mechanical components, electrical components, and fabric. Although fabric, I'm kind of a bit inclined to produce that locally, actually. Trouble is I think about it, because the vehicles that, just to kind of try and explain what I'm thinking about, is that you come here and we look at the templates. You'll see that we use very small amounts of fabric. I think even with trains. So we could produce the fabric locally. Maybe that's something I might consider once we got the main structure in place. Okay, so where are we? Wrong place. Right. So the next thing we're going to need to do is put in a. I'm going to have to put in a rail cargo platform. That's no good. Would I need that amount of? It's a bit over the top, to be honest. That's nice, but would it be practical? It's only got 2 delivery slots. My instinct is just to use it, but we've got to deliver 4 types of goods here. I think what we might need to do is plan a one-way system here. I'm just going to put this in provisionally. We need to make sure we don't get that bit there. Right, we need to think about the rail lines. This one is going to be relatively easy. Because what we got up here. We got a warehouse there. Actually, I've just thought we could be a little bit sneaky here. Then again, if we bring in stuff to this warehouse, we're going to need, we can deliver it by road. Where's the road connection? The road connection's there, which is on the right side. Yeah, I think with respect to the round line here, I don't think we're going to need to go that way. I think what we'll do is we'll come off here. Keep it, well, not that rough, but that can come in there. We could get a queue here which could block that, but what would be yeah, we might get grain trains up here. I think what we will do is put a kind of a little bit of a marshalling yard here, like that. We can bring the resources into here. The alternative is that we can bring in the road. Now we are going to need a fire station, so can I get a road through there? Yes, I can. We are going to need a fire station. We're not going to extend this track this way, so what we could probably do is, oh, that's great. Okay, we're going to put the fire station. Where's the road connection here? Road connection is just there. We're going to put the fire station bang opposite, like that. Give it a little bit of a slip road there. That means that we're going to need, I think we're going to need a way to export vehicles. So if I run you, I don't really want to do this, but I don't really want to mess about with bridges. That will also, we got a fire station here, haven't we? So we don't really need a fire station here, do we? Okay, so we can get rid of you. That actually gives an opportunity to do that. Yeah, we got the fire station here. It's going to have a helicopter, so that will give us there. If we need more fire support, we can put it out this way, up from the fire station. If there's a risk to fire, we can bring this road round here into there. That means if we bring stuff into here that we need, though it's unlikely, we can bring that in there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to need to do is, I think we're going to keep this simple with a straight grid pattern. You can come like that, because we got to do something with the steel, and yeah, we need to think about how we're going to get the steel in. Okay, so we got this here. we need the question is, will that be big enough? If I put the steel on that side, part of me says steel here, but then we would have to ship it all the way around to there. I'm wondering if I could get, so we put a steel, that's going to cross over there. No, it's no good. Okay, we're going to have to put a steel pick up here. So let's put the that's that way. But what we can actually, we'll put it this way, like that. Yeah, I think we can get this to work. You can come out like that, connect to there. Yeah, we can be a bit sneaky here, because if I put in a cargo station this side, we can put it this side. We don't need the rail connection. That can pick up from that side. This question is, do I run the rail straight through? Will that be more efficient so that the trains don't have to double back? So we could bring in 2 lines here, come through here, and then send you out here. But the trouble is we'd have this crossover. Let me just remove that. I think I can make this work. Right, we're going to put in a... Actually, we can make... This can come in from above, like that. And then we're not going to have any distribution offices that way. Yeah, I think if we run you... we've got a good connection there. So we've got a good, even better connection here, haven't we? This built? Yeah, this is built. So we come off like that. I've just messed up this. No, I haven't. That's good. Yeah, so you can run in like that. Like that. I'm just wondering, let's redo this again. Right, I'm just gonna click rail, cancel plans, and remove you. These are always a pain to remove. And what we're going to do is put in the... Right, we're going to go for a big cargo drop-off platform. Got 4 here. And I want this to stretch out as far as it can. So we're going to stretch you this way, like that. And I want you out as far as you can go, like that. That gives us more space there. We which way does the road come out? Road comes out there. That's good, because this means that this road can come round and go up that way. That makes it look a little bit more neater and tidier. This road may need to go somewhere, so we'll make that into a T-junction. Remove that. So we've now got this here, because it means I can then fit in. So we'll put you out like that. If we can get a factory connection. Yep, that's good. And then you... Oh, that's rubbish. What am I on about? No, it's not. I don't think that's gonna work. Okay, we're just gonna trim that back again. I'm gonna put you in. Put you in a little bit closer like that. Thank you, game. Back to here. It was a nice thought, actually. Another thought. I think what we're going to do is bring this in fairly tight like that. Yeah, I think we'll do it that way. We've got the line here. Let me just put this line in. Whoops. Move you and you. No. I just don't like it. My instinct is to run the railway out this way. Got loads of space for track up here. I think what I do need to think about is where are we going to put our railway construction office? Let me just think about that. Actually, I think what we're going to do is, how much pollution does the rail construction? It's 18 tons, but it's not actually going to be now. Rail is a little bit odd because, say for example, I put the rail here like this. Now it's got two inward ways here, but what you can do is, say for example, let me just sketch this in just to illustrate what I'm talking about. This can run out like that. Now this line, no, it's gone too far. This has got to go this way. Because eventually, whoops. Start again. First you don't succeed, give up. What we can do is run a line up like that. This will run up in here. Now this would be exactly the same as what I did on the other side of the map. This would be an exclusive line for passenger trains. Now what you can do is do something like this. Like this. Might tidy this up a bit better. But and what you can do is you can actually deliver passengers to a rail construction production vehicle directly. You don't need a platform or anything like that, but you could put a platform in if you wanted to make it a little bit more elegant. I actually quite like this idea, actually. Yeah, let me just, you need to think about this. I think this is a little bit too far out. Let me just come here. We could put this here. If I want to leave space for possible other deliveries. Actually, if I flip that the other way, there's got a few more factory connections on it. Okay, let me just keep the game paused. Yeah, I think we'll put the rail production here, like that. Actually, I think I am going to put a, where's the, yeah, I think we will put in a passenger platform. So we could put you here, like, actually, we could put you about there. Like that, right. Because what we could do, how many workers does a rail production? That's 400. I think I'd rather keep the two productions separate. So if I come in here, because that would be right on top of, oh, we can make this work. That there's nothing that says that it's got to be square. Okay, we put you there. Trim you back. You can have, let's make sure we can get road down that can connect to that. You can have a asphalt footpath that will go directly between those two. That will give us the rail connection there. This line can come out like that and run that way, like that. This can, wow, a slight angle, run straight, come there, go into there like that. Now we will be using train sets, so we probably put that crossover there. You've got a crossover there. That will run up that way. Good. That means that what we can do now is we can create a one-way effect here by coming off of here and coming in here and going out that way. Because that means that trains delivering the steel and the electro components to here. What is the storage though? That's the key factor. How much storage does the 62, 125 mechanical components, 87%, 300 tons of steel. Now, trains will suck up a lot of steel. Can't remember now. I don't think this over here will give me a train template because it's not a always give it a go. Steel is the issue. Do we have any factory connections here? No. But you could put a factory. Put a connection in there. Actually, that could be quite useful. Oh, that could be even better, couldn't it? Because we could bring in a steel delivery there. We can actually... Oh yeah, this could work. If we put you there and another one here. Yeah, well, it means we won't need this monster. Yeah. So we can make this into simple, not that simple, that simple one. We can make you into that simple connection there. Set that. You can come there. Right. Actually, I just had another thought. This could... Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is getting a little bit better now. Cargo, pick up. Right, we're going to put you in there. Because we're not going to produce that many trains, so we can put you there. We could then get a smaller warehouse here. Yeah, we can put you... No, we can do the delivery from here to there using a string. Right, so let me just think again about this. Problem's going to be is being able to specify the amounts of delivery by the actual distribution offices. So there's two ways to approach this. We can build small distribution offices over here. By distribution offices, I'm talking things like this. We can put these along here and then use small amounts of trucks to specify the percentages that can be put in there. So we'll put that road connection in there. We've got that can go again. Although part of me still says the problem's going to be is if I deliver it by rail, I won't be able to get control of that. This one's irrelevant because that feeds that. We got that one there. Yeah, I think what we are going to do is I'm going to put a cargo drop off there. That will shorten the distance, actually. And then let me just plan cargo stations, distribution offices. Put 1, 2, 3 distribution offices in there. The job of these distribution offices will be to regulate the supply of the materials to the railway section, because then I can use different percentages to control what goes in. Okay, so that deals with all the non-steel related stuff. Part of me says just deliver the steel directly into here for this one. Then that just brings back the issue of steel here. Although the storage for steel is 300 tons, it's not I suppose it would be enough to build one train. So if we set that to 80%, yeah, I think that will work. So what we need now is a way. Haha. Okay, we're gonna have to get right. What we're gonna do is gonna come off here. I don't want to obstruct too much space here. Let me just work it right loop like that. You can come there. Oops, that's not connected. Because of course the other thing we're going to need to consider is rail depots and we're getting the actual trains in and out as well. I think if we have that's the upline. This can come this way. Try and save a little bit of track difference. This can come in, so this would be the in line for deliveries, and then the primary delivery for this is going to be steel. So we know the steel mills are up that direction. So this line can come in this way, and then what we're going to need is a line coming out this way, which is going to have to be a little bit different because the trains are going to have to be able to return. Okay, so we got an inbound train here. And now, am I overthinking this? This is always the thing that concerns me, is all we got to do is run a line back that way, which if we run you back like that, you can run into there. We got a crossover here, so the train coming out here can decide on which way it wants to go. And then what we can do is give the option that way. So what we're going to be doing here is delivering the steel into here. And of course, once we produce the train, we need to send it. So we need an option to go that way or that way. I've got no idea where the depots are going to be. And of course, we might need an option to actually export the train from there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm kind of thinking, do we want vehicle storage? I think I'm happy with this. We got bringing the steel, and we still need to get the steel into here. Nothing says that this has to be steel. We could put another. In fact, this might be the better solution actually. We can bring. Yeah, I think what I might do is this one's going to be a little bit inefficient because to get to here, because these will come here. But my instinct is we know where the steel's going to come from, but the steel comes from that way. But I've built this line. No, I think my instinct is that we use this space here to bring the steel into here, and then we can, because we're gonna have to distribute it by truck. Actually, if I trim you back, can we get a minimal production here? And we've got that connection there. Yeah, let me just try something. I'm also aware that I'm running out of time now. I really want some better storage distribution. Let me just check. What's this one? This 2000. Wow. That's impressive. But it's not rail. Okay, I've kind of run out of time on this video, so I think this is where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to think about the steel side one way or another off camera, guys, because it's going to need a little time to think about it. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.